I'm getting married in 2 weeks, and instead of excitement, I feel like I'm teetering on the edge of a cliff, ready to plunge into an abyss of despair. It all started tonight when Zander and I planned to enjoy a rare moment of calm, but then my world flipped upside down in an instant. I walked into the kitchen, glass in hand, hoping to unwind, only to overhear my fiancé talking on speakerphone with my brother-in-law, his voice laden with a weight that twisted my stomach into knots. My brother-in-law was looking for his wife, and without a second thought, Zander casually mentioned that she had just left. It felt like a punch to the gut. She wasn't here, and the last time I saw her was yesterday, diligently working on our wedding decorations. Why would Zander lie about her whereabouts? Was he trying to cover up something far more sinister? I tried to shake off my rising suspicions as I poured my drink, but each sip felt like poison, burning its way down my throat. I wanted to believe there was a reasonable explanation, but the more I replayed his words, the more my mind spiraled into a dark maze of betrayal. Why was he so quick to reassure my brother-in-law when he couldn't possibly know? Were we really as solid as I thought? That night morphed into a sleepless spiral of confusion and dread, my thoughts racing through a labyrinth of possibilities. I replayed the conversation over and over, each time adding more layers of distrust to what I had once considered a solid relationship. Zander had never given me a reason to doubt him, until now. Around 1 a.m., exhaustion gave way to a gnawing anxiety that I couldn't shake. I tiptoed into the bathroom, my heart pounding like a war drum as I grabbed Zander's phone. I knew I shouldn't invade his privacy, but curiosity clawed at my insides, demanding release. Unlocking his phone felt like stepping into a hidden world, and my heart plummeted as I stumbled upon text threads detailing a sordid affair with my brother-in-law's wife. The messages were graphic, filled with secrets and confessions that sent icy chills racing down my spine. I felt nauseous as I scrolled through the evidence of his deceit, realizing Zander had been complicit in tearing apart a family. My brother-in-law had no idea, and here I was, ensnared in a web of lies I never wanted to be a part of. The night dragged on in a haze, feeling like a ghost in my own life. What should have been excitement over the upcoming wedding now felt like a funeral for my trust and my future with Zander. I was suffocating under the weight of choices I never thought I'd have to make. How could I face him after this? The next morning, I summoned the courage to call my brother, who was in Australia. Breaking the news about Zander and his wife's betrayal felt like a heavy weight lifting off my chest, despite the pain it carried. He listened without judgment, his voice a reassuring anchor amidst the turmoil of my emotions. He reminded me that I deserved honesty, that I shouldn't be shackled by someone else's deceit. As the day dragged on, I began to reclaim my power. I rebooked my honeymoon plans, and for the first time in hours, a flicker of hope ignited within me. I could escape this nightmare, at least for a little while. I needed to distance myself from Zander and the tangled web of lies he had spun. After work, I steeled myself to confront my brother-in-law. He had sensed something was off, and I had to share what I had uncovered. Seeing him, I felt a tumultuous mix of guilt and determination. He was on the brink of losing everything he loved, and it was my burden to deliver the devastating news. We sat together in his kitchen, the air thick with tension as I recounted the sordid details. I watched the hurt wash over him like a tidal wave, and it was agonizing to witness his world crumble. I felt like a villain, tearing apart the fabric of his family, but deep down I knew it was the right thing to do. Hours later, still reeling from the pain of that conversation, I knew I had to face Zander. I braced myself for the confrontation as I stepped through the front door, ready to shatter the illusion we had built together. He looked up, his smile radiant, but it felt like a dagger piercing my heart. "Hey babe, ready for dinner?" he asked, blissfully ignorant, and a wave of nausea washed over me. How could he be so blind? I inhaled deeply, my voice trembling as I said, "We need to talk." His smile faltered, confusion clouding his features. "What's wrong?" he asked, and I could see his mind racing, the realization creeping in. "I know about the affair, Zander. I found the texts." Silence engulfed us, thick and suffocating, as the weight of my words hung in the air like a dark cloud. His expression shifted from confusion to disbelief, and I felt a part of me shatter as I watched the man I thought I knew crumble before my eyes. "You don't understand," he began, but I cut him off, my anger bubbling to the surface. "No, Zander, you don't understand. You betrayed not just me, but my brother and his family. How could you do this?" He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Panic flickered in his eyes, and for a fleeting moment I felt an odd twinge of sympathy, but it was quickly eclipsed by the anger boiling within me for the man who had deceived me. We stood there, worlds apart, and I knew I couldn't marry him. The thought of walking down the aisle knowing what I now knew felt unbearable. "The wedding is off," I said, my voice steady, even though a storm raged inside me. His face fell, and I watched as the reality of my words sank in like a lead weight. I had been his partner, his confidant, and now I was the one delivering this heart-wrenching blow. "You don't mean that," he pleaded, reaching out for me, but I instinctively stepped back, feeling the chasm between us widen. "I do mean it, Zander. I can't live a lie, not anymore. I deserve better, and so do you. You need to face the consequences of your actions. I refuse to be a part of this." I turned away, refusing to look back, my heart racing in my chest. I felt an exhilarating mix of freedom and terror, a whirlwind of emotions swirling within me. I had made the hardest decision of my life, but deep down, I knew it was the only path forward. As I stepped out the door, I caught a glimpse of the life I had envisioned with Zander, now shattered into a million pieces. I felt raw and exposed, but beneath it all, a flicker of hope ignited. I would rebuild, and I would emerge stronger from the ashes of this betrayal. The road ahead was uncertain, but I resolved to take it one step at a time. I would face the fallout, the whispers, and the judgment, but I would no longer be a prisoner of someone else's lies. I was reclaiming my narrative, and it felt both terrifying and exhilarating. Thank you for watching. For more real stories and powerful dramas, be sure to like, subscribe, and explore our I Love You 2 channel.